What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla SPY, and the overall market. I'm going to break down what's going on with some new developments looking at the charts, which you should be watching for as time goes on. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon in just 3 days. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. So, as far as NIO goes, we're making lower highs and lower lows. And we're looking at this very, very critical support right over here, very close to this 4.3 area. And we'll have to see if NIO could hold this. We're barely holding this, and we're starting to consolidate up here. But there is a chance that it attempts to rebound a bit off of this before potentially continuing lower. Now, I do want to mention that there is this gap down here to fill. There's actually many gaps all the way down to the low fours, if not the threes, that could end up getting filled, which does give NIO more downside potential. And if we do get some more downside, I still consider it a very, very good buying opportunity. So my views of the market remain the same. So let's talk about some data first, and I'll break down more details. There was this talk right over here about how NIO is getting a lot of attention in Abu Dhabi. Don't forget that Abu Dhabi have made massive investments into NIO, excuse me, for the long term. And we're seeing a lot of potential growth, at least for the company. So I think that with the NIO houses improving and with more of them growing, it's going to provide a lot more better user experiences. And I think that this is a very, very good further growth for the shorter term. I'm sorry, for the longer term. But my issue is that for the short term, we're still waiting to see what mechanisms they're going to be incorporating to help improve their margins and to help get close to profitability. NIO may reach profitability, but it may take a little bit longer than what they were expecting beforehand, which is something they went over during earnings. And the latest earnings were not that strong. So I'm really hoping that NIO sees improvement there. But if anything, I would say that creates an opportunity to buy, these shares at lower, because the long term is still going to be very bright as the EV sector continues to grow and as more and more of these NIOs get sold. I think NIO is setting itself up for some major upside, and I think that these meetings in Abu Dhabi are just amazing. It has a very, very bright future for that. But for the short term, we still want to be careful, especially as we see these catalysts, such as the fact that NIO got a downgrade from Goldman Sachs. They are talking about how it could be dropping to about the threes, unfortunately. Even if that's the case, guys, like I said before, another buying opportunity. On top of this, the price-price ratio is dipping as NIO is showing weakness. And then historically, Fridays, they tend to be green only about 53% of the time. Volume is slowing at 44 million. There's not really much that's going on from here. So, that being said, as a reminder, tomorrow is going to be Thursday, which is Thanksgiving in the United States. So the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange are going to be closed. There's not going to be day trading tomorrow. And the market only has half a day on Friday. So there's basically just half a day left for the week. That's pretty much it. Most of the time, it's just going to be quiet. No earnings coming out for tomorrow. So there's not going to be trading, at least in the American markets, for NIO for tomorrow. That's what I tend to use as I am in the United States. But I just want to say that for Friday, we could be looking for another interesting amount of volatility. This downtrend may continue. There might be a little rebound before it continues lower, but nonetheless, there is still some more risk of downside. As far as SPY goes, this is very interesting right now. We're seeing a small dip right over here. Now, notice that we're trying to hold our 200 EMA. I would like to see us retest, sorry, not the 200, the 20 EMA. We could retest 596 to 598 before it attempts to rebound again. Overall, the chart is still forming a nice looking structure. So if we do dip right over here and start to rebound, we'll be watching to see if we could surpass the highs. If we break all-time highs, there could be another attempts to run. If not, if we come short, we could just kind of push here, then start to reject and start to continue to dip lower. So we'll be watching that very, very closely. And that being said, guys, with this bearish divergence that's forming and potential rejection, this could be a sign that we're going to pivot soon. We might attempt to rebound first, and we'll have to see if we make a lower high. If that's the case, then this could start to dip lower. And we have major support at 594.5, so we'll have to see how it reacts to that. So look for a rebound attempt. Maybe a balance very close between 597. The 20 EMA is actually at 597, not 596. I want to correct myself. Between 597 and 598 is where we have some key support. So we might see an attempt to bounce off of that, and then we'll see if we make a higher high or not. But we'll see if this leads to like a lower high, which leads to a trend reversal. I'll be watching that closely. ES is on a bit of a downtrend here. We'll have to see if we hold 6,012. If not, we're looking for 5986 as our potential targets. For other factors, we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin is making lower highs right here. We're looking for essentially 94,669 as our main support, so it could be dipping closer to that. So watch and see if that ends up being the case or not. For stocks like Tesla, Tesla has a double top leg structure. We're starting to fill this gap down here. So if we end up losing 330, we could come down to fill that gap. That would take Tesla all the way down to that 322 area, which would be completely normal. There is some negative talk coming out involving the EV tax credits in California. However, we'll just have to see if we end up getting a bounce off that support at 320. So I do think we might come down to fill that gap. Look for a small rebound on Friday before it may continue lower. A gap fill would be very healthy, so we could get a bounce after that. For NQ, we need to reclaim 20,860. Otherwise, this is at risk of dipping towards about 20,600. The QQQ, we have this rejection right here. We're going to be watching to see if we could break past the 20 EMA or not. If not, there is going to be that risk of us dipping towards about 498. So just keep that in mind as well. For Aapl, we're on a very, very nice uptrend here. We did dip a bit only to try to rebound. So I'm looking for a retest of 236. We'll have to see if we break that or not, but look for a little bit more upside. MSTR is trying to rebound, but let's see if we can try to break past 396. If that breaks, we will attempt to get back up into like the 420 area. So let's see if we break resistance or not. For the IWM Russell 2000, we're very flat right now. This might get closer to about 239 before it tries to bounce. So keep that in mind. For AMD, we're on a bit of a downtrend. We might attempt to retest 137 before it tries to reject, so keep that in mind. And then this relates to like Nvda, which did dip down towards our target very close to that 132 to 130 area. And now it's getting bought back up. So if it reclaims 135 on Friday, it could attempt to bounce for 138. So we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. So watch this big test at 135. Do we bounce off of that or do we reject? It has some potential to push from there. For coin, we're trying to push here. We'll see if we hold above 305 or not. If we do, we're looking for an attempt to get back up towards that 315 area. If we lose 304, we're looking for essentially 295. So with this trying to base here, this could attempt to push for essentially the 315 area, and we'll see what happens after that. For Amzn, we are making lower highs here, so there's going to be that risk of hitting 203. We'll see what kind of reaction we get from that. It is rejecting so far. I think Meta might retest 575 before it tries to reject, so keep that in mind. Microsoft's looking more bearish. We're looking for a test of 419. We'll see if that holds. If not, our next level is going to be down here at 415. Also aligns with our key fib level. And finally, Google is just consolidating. Once again, if we break 171 on bullish, we're looking for 173. And if we lose 170, we're looking for 168 as our target. Otherwise, it's just completely flat. So that's my analysis, at least for the market thus far. Just know that as far as NIO goes, we're still looking very weak, at least compared to the markets. So there is still that downside potential, which will create a long-term buying opportunity. But anyways, please have a great rest of your day, guys. The Thanksgiving holiday has started for many of us. I just wish the best for everyone out there. And I'll give you guys a very, very quick update about the markets tomorrow to prepare you guys for Friday. Until then, thank you all so much for listening. Have a very, very happy holiday weekend. And I'll be back tomorrow with a quick update. Thank you for listening and peace out.